Shalom, Israel, Shalom. Brother Avery, Roy, Hushai. First and foremost, I want to say, I hope everybody's been well and blessed. Back with this lesson, the B system. I've been in YouTube jail, a timeout. They got me on my last video with a strike, some crap about, misinformation or whatever. But you know how it goes. It's the whole point is to restrain prayer or block the truth. Okay, but the gates of hell won't prevail. It won't work. The truth must go out. So this is a very powerful lesson because this is exactly what we see happening right now within the earth. Okay, the devil, this white man, know that his time is up. The Lord is taking down the systems, the world's economies. So in a last ditch effort to try and prevent the children of God, the Israelite kingdom, from coming on earth, well, if they could get the whole world chipped up, by default, they feel like they could stay in power. But as we know, according to scripture and the prophecy, it's not going to, it's them sit up their systems. Okay, they're putting their systems in place and this told everybody under one universal economy, one universal religion, just one world. They're trying to make everybody as one. Okay, and we're going to see throughout the scriptures, the Lord ain't never been with that. He's not with everybody, being on one or one people, one mind, one God, one religion, one economy, one land. The Lord ain't never been with that. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. We're going to see that they've made several attempts. This has happened before for this one world order. Okay, it's written throughout the scriptures. And as you can see, we're going to see every single time the Lord disrupted it, he brought that system down. All right, so let's get Genesis, the 11th chapter. We're going to Genesis 11, and I'm going to pick it up at the first verse. This is going into the Tower of Babel in ancient times. Genesis 11 and 1. And the whole earth was one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they followed a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and tower, which the children of men build. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now will nothing be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. So as you can clearly see, during the days of the Tower of Babel, they had a plan. Let's build a tower up into the skies of heaven, up into the heavens where the Lord is. But the Lord saw it and said, wait a minute, the people is one language, okay, and they on one accord. And if they accomplish this, it'll be nothing that they will be able to do. So the Lord is clearly not with it. Verse 7, Go to, let us go down there, confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from this upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name called Bel, because the Lord did there confound the languages of all the earth. And from there did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. So as you can see, they was on one accord, one speech, one language, trying to build a tower to heaven. The Lord wasn't with that one world order. This was the first one world order we see in trying to be set up. So the Lord said, you know what? Let me go down, divide the tongues, the languages, then scatter them abroad. So the Lord never intended for everybody like one big melting pot and land, how they teach, or the white man that's promoted the earth throughout the earth, that teaching everybody coming together on one accord, one God, one religion, one language. The Lord has never been with that. He gave everybody from the beginning their own languages, their own lands, and all of these things. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 32, verse 7. Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy fathers, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. Verse 8 is the point. When the Most High had divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam and set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Okay, so from the beginning, as we see, the Lord divided the nations, their inheritance, and he separated the different nations. So this one world order that they're trying to set up in these last days, this is the Tower of Babel on steroids. They're doing it all again with this one world currency. As we know, they about to ditch the dollar, and it's a race. You got the BRICS test nations who's battling for their world dominance digital currency. Then you got the West and NATO who's trying to come up with their own thing, which is going to ultimately lead into that beast system, or what the Bible refers as to the mark of the beast. Okay, I want to, let's get a video real quick. Yeah, play this one right here.
So Whole Foods is now requiring the palm as a way to purchase foods from their store. As you can see in New York, it wasn't met with hugs and smiles. It was met with resistance. The system is here. I've been telling y'all this. They finna implement this here because the dollar is, the more stores that go cashless, the faster you devaluate the dollar. Because if the dollar is not in demand, its value goes down. Do you follow what I'm saying? So they're going to crush the value of the dollar with the implementation of artificial intelligence and a cashless society. You follow what I'm saying? So now, and this palm pain right here, this is just the softening for the microchip. If they already got the data in you like this from using your palms, that's only the precursor to the microchip. You only a step away from the microchip. This Whole Foods situation right here is finna get out of control. They already handling that shit in New York. And I just wanted to say, shout out to New York for showing that y'all wasn't going. And if they bring it in y'all communities, y'all know what to do. So whole.
All right. So as you can clearly see, this is what they're pushing for. This one world global currency, or this digital money. Okay, and as we saw in the Tower of Babel, there's several other examples throughout the Bible we're going to read where this has occurred once before. All right, let's get Daniel, the 3rd chapter, and I'm going to pick it up around, I guess I'll pick it up from the top. One moment. This is Daniel 3:1. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits, and he set it up in the plain of Dura, in the prominence of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the prominence to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, governors, captains, judges, treasurers, counselors, sheriffs, and all the rulers of the prominence gathered together to the dedication on the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Now, what is this showing you in verse 2 and 3? Okay, this was a system-wide gathering, or a system-wide thing where all people, all the so-called leaders, your law enforcement, your politicians, okay, your top government officials, your clergy, they're going to use your black sellout Christian pastors, okay, which a lot of them are Masons and Eastern Stars anyway. But it's showing you how they're going to put this system in together. Okay, they're going to reach out to all these so-called leaders, throughout the earth in certain communities, and they're going to all come together to enforce this system. It's the same thing we see in Nebuchadnezzar did. He wanted to pass this basically idolatry worship, this golden statue that at a certain time everybody had to bow down and worship. And as we're going to see how they do it, they enforce it through their policies and their laws. Okay, verse 4. Then held cry aloud to you, it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. Notice what he say, it's commanded. So they're going to do the same thing in these last days. As we see, they're going to start making this law. You got to go along with the system. You got to comply. Verse 5, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, the dumlucker, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And whosoever not falleth down and worship, the same hour shall be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at the time when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the psaltery, the psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at the time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, the sackbut, psaltery, dumlucker, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And so whosoever falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. So they made it a law, a decree, that whoever does not bow down and worship this basically idolatry is going to be put to death in a burning fiery furnace. Verse 12. Then certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the prominence of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, these men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods and worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if ye be ready, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dumgumber, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, well. But if ye worship not, you shall be cast in the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? So now when he bring in the three men, Meshach, and Abednego before Nebuchadnezzar, he's giving them an option. Okay, he's basically trying to question their fate. I'm giving you a second chance to rethink what you're doing. If you go ahead, the next time you hear the music play, if you bow down like everybody else, then all will be well. We'll forget this ever happened. But if you don't, I'm going to do what I passed in decree. You going into the fiery furnace. Okay, so this is the same thing that they're going to try to force upon us in these last days. As we about to read, it's going to come a time, even during this chip or mark of the beast, that the penalty for not taking it is going to be death. So it's showing you how it's nothing new under the sun, as the Bible say. They're using the same playbook from ancient times. It's just in modern day times now. Instead of a golden image, it may be in the form of a currency, as ultimately, as the Bible says, a microchip. But if you don't bow down and worship what this white man is putting in order, these are the decrees and the laws that they're going to come with in the last days. But let's see, what did the three Hebrew boys do? Okay, did they bow in because of the pressure or the fear? Well, if you don't do this, you can't work here. You lose your job. You're going to get counseled, or you're going to even death, as we see. All right, let's see where I left off, verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. In other words, we don't even have to think about it. We ain't finna disobey our God. Verse 17, if it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the form of his vengeance was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it wont to be heated, and commanded the most mighty of the men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them in the burning fiery furnace. Then these 3 men were bound in the coats and hosen and their hats and of their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew the men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So he heated the furnace up so hot, 7 times hotter, to even the men that bound him up and was dragging them to the fiery furnace, it burnt them up and killed them. Verse 23. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the in the midst of the fire? Then answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the most high God, come forth hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth in the midst of the fire. And the princes, the governors, captains, and the kings and counselors being gathered together saw these men, upon whose body the fire had no power, nor was a hair on their head, neither was their coats changed, nor the smell of the fire passed on them. So as we see, I'm going to stop there with that, but the Lord protected them through it. The Lord kept them. Okay, and this is the fate. This is why we draw our fate from the word, because in these last days, the same similar situations is going to play out. Okay, they're going to try to basically test our fortitude, test our spirit, try to break the children of God. Okay, but we have to stand firm the same way Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego told the king, look, we know that our God is able to deliver us. And even if he don't deliver us, we're going to go out trusting and believing in him. And it's the same way, a promise, a type of faith we got to have in the last days. Okay, I want to get a couple more examples to show you it's the same playbook they've tried throughout the generations. Okay, we go into the Apocrypha, 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter. And I think it's around 41. That's what I want. 44. Okay, this is during the Greek rulership, King Antiochus. Okay. Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. See that? One people. That's that one world order, that beast system, one world government. Verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary of the holy people, and set up altars and groves and chapels and idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanication, just profane themselves, to the end that they may forget the law and change all ordinances. Verse 50, listen carefully. And whosoever would not do accordingly to the commandment of the king should die. Okay, so is, let me get verse 51. He made it a law that if they did not do these things, leave off from their laws, the laws of our forefather, the Jews, and basically assimilate into the heathen customs, which was all abominable things. If they did not comply, we see in the penalty again that they should die. Verse 51. In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers and all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. So we see in the same playbook how they enforce it. Okay, they use their policies. They use their policies, they make it law, and they make it a decree throughout all the provinces and cities. And they use their officials and leaders. Okay, and it's the same thing to speed it up. It's mainly in these last days going to be targeted towards our people again. And this is why a lot of your bootleg, jackleg Christian pastors, that they get a bag to, a lot of these 501c3s, they just pay them off to further promote and push whatever agenda it is. Okay, the last, I got to be very careful, but the last agenda we had, same thing. You know, they paid a lot of these leaders off to tell you to do certain things. It's because it's the same playbook. When it comes to this beast system that's about to be set up in the future, or the mark of the beast, same exact thing. Okay, they're going to pay these people off to try to influence or convince you to take the mark, take the chip. Okay, so let's get a few precepts on that. I just want to show you they able to get away with this wickedness by they make it a law. They make it a decree throughout the land. Let's get Isaiah 10 and 1. This is Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Okay, and this is what the white man is doing across the whole earth. They getting together. They just, what is it? Well, that's Bristex that was recently meeting with their digital currency recently. But these G summits that they have every year, every couple years, these are the things that they discuss. Okay, this one world dominance. How to, mainly the children of Israel. We the only people that don't have a spot on those world tables when they meet. So how to keep these people, a lot of these laws and things that they pass, this is what it's showing. These are unrighteous decrees. If you don't comply with this, you can't live, operate in society. You don't comply with this, you'll lose your job. Okay, social credit score is something they implement. Okay, if you don't agree with the narrative of the government or what the world is pushing and promoting, well, guess what? Your credit score can be affected now. See, your money, they could counsel with this digital currency. That's why that's so serious. They don't like what your narrative or perspective on something is different from the narrative that they're trying to push throughout the earth. They could cancel your whole money, shut off your digital currency. See, but they do this by passing these draconian, unrighteous decrees. They make it law, even as we read throughout the examples with Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar, all of them. The king made a decree. Okay, let's get Psalms 94 and 20. Chapter 94, verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frame it mischief by law? See, they set their mischiefs up, they make it law. This is how they, even under these, they use certain natural disasters or certain big events that they deem as national emergencies. And what do they release? All these executive orders. So many executive orders, the average person don't have a time to look and keep up with all this stuff. But in a lot of these executive orders, this is the type of stuff that it's doing. Instead of restricting more of your rights, it's canceling the Constitution, and it's allowing them to push their wicked draconian laws up on the people. All right, let's get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice. See that? Their strength they're able to get away with is by making decrees and law. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing. Who are considered the feeble? Our people, the poor of the earth. Okay, don't have armed military, don't have really, for the most part, compared to the other nations, don't have the same resources or currency or money, power that the other people do. So we would be the feeble. This is why you see our people, we have to use a lot of march and protest and begging the white man to, hey, treat us right. We need this, equal rights, equal opportunity, all of these type of things. Okay, so they get away with oppressing the feeble by actually verse 10. I'm going to read verse 10 and 11. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. See that? Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble shall be found nothing worth. So it lets you know how these world leaders, these international bankers and top politicians, how they look at the poor of the society, how they look at our people. They call what the terms the global elitists use, useless eaters. Okay, wasteless eat. In other words, they don't contribute anything but just eat and take from society. Okay, so they're not going to have a problem pushing this agenda in the last days. Okay, let's go to Revelations 13. And I'm going to pick it up around verse, 11. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb and spake like a dragon. That's going into the West or America's political system. The two horns like a lamb, Democrat and Republican. Okay, two feathers of the same dirty ass bird. Okay, this is how notice it says it spake like a dragon. So it came in the form of peace or like good. But when you look at what they're starting to push and promote upon the world, that's the wickedness. That's it speaking like a dragon. Verse 12. And he exercised all power of the first beast before him and calls it the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Talking about the miracles of their technology. Okay. Hiroshima, what they dropped on Japan. That was the first time the world seen anything like that. That was like a miracle. Okay. Allegedly, even something that happened recently in the earth to a certain area in Maui. Okay. That's just certain miracles through the technology. Verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles, which had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had been wounded by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the beast to be killed. So verse 15 say he had power to give life into the image of the beast. That's going into his artificial intelligence, this whole AI system that they promoting and pushing up on the earth. Okay, but notice the end of that. And as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So are they going to do the same thing? This is the future that we reading about, or actually this is what we're transitioning into. From a digital currency to what we're reading about here is the mark of the beast or the chip. But notice, as we read in the past, what is the penalty for resisting these laws? As many as would not take the image or worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay, so they're going to institute this again in the future. Okay, putting people to death for going against the system, for not wanting to bow down to Baal, to not taking this mark or this image. Verse 16. He calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So notice what it's attached to, buy and selling. So it's showing you this is going to be the one world global currency at one point. Everything about a person, okay, is going to be associated and attached to this. But what is it showing you in the one world system? They want to control everything. Okay, and the white man, because that's who the main head is behind it. This is ultimately who's going to be pushing this throughout the earth. That's his whole goal, the job, to know everything, try to be like the Lord. And with this digital chip, they're going to be able to do that. Okay, everybody on one accord, as we read in the beginning, just like the Tower of Babel times 10, to know everything about you. You want to know your thoughts, Okay, he want to know how many meals you eat a day, how many times you go to the restroom, how many hairs is on your head. Just like the Lord say, even the very hairs of your head is numbered. Well, this is what the white man want to do through this technology. He want to control everything. He wants to be God, basically. Okay, verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let he that had understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of the man, and his number is 666, 666. Okay, the man who created the barcode, George Joseph Law, he's the one who created the first barcode, but now they're just finding a way to make it digital. Okay, this is the objective of the global elitist international bankers for these last days. Get the whole world chipped up, specifically the children of Israel, so-called Black, Latino, Native Americans. That way, by default, the Lord won't have a kingdom to give them. Okay, so this is his last-ditch effort to stay in rulership or power, but it won't work. Okay, I want to get Isaiah 14, Isaiah the 14th chapter, just to show you his thought process, just to show you this spirit has always been in the earth. Isaiah 14 and what I want, verse 12. Isaiah 14 and 12. This is the thought pattern of the white man, or the so-called global elitists, the international bankers. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground? That didst weakest the nation. The Lord, he is falling. The Lord is busting up the world's economies. Okay, exposing them through these scriptures. Verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. Same thing as the Tower of Babel. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Okay, because from North America will be the capital of what his wickedness is coming from. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. See that? That's his whole thought pattern of frame. He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to be worshiped like the Most High. He wants to control everybody and everything and know the thoughts, everything you do, just like the Most High. See, verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So as we see, it's not going to be successful. The Lord is going to bring him down. He's going to disrupt this system. Okay, I'm going to play a couple of more videos for you. Let's see.
Put an avocado on.
My bad, that's not what I want. One moment. One moment, his phone coming.
Whoa, now what's happening with y'all like that? Check this out. Here we go again.
His phone kind of malfunctioning. One moment. All right, let's see. I'm going to show y'all the religious aspect of it too, because it's not just about one world currency. They want to control everything. I'm going to play this.
Number 8, we will finally
Now, real quick, remember what we read. Even in the past, they used leaders, promises, governors, captains. So it's showing you in the last days, it's the same way. They're going to use your politicians, like I said, your church leaders, your Mason, Eastern Stars, 5013 church leaders. They're going to use so-called prominent people to push and promote this system.
the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
So you see that? He said it's going to be everywhere. and land, on air, on sea. That goes precept really what we just read. Revelation, he calls both all, rich and poor, small and great. So they're going to push and promote this everywhere. All right, let me get on another one.
Are already here.
The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards,
Which have made cash pretty much obsolete in Sweden.
no cash.
At this tech fair, a chipping event for those on the cutting edge, merging their hands with this new technology.
I thought it would be fun, right?
The process is simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
but even in this nation of early adopters, not everyone is racing to get chipped.
Feel less human. I will feel like a robot.
I think, it's so much more data can go into this, when it's in your body.
There's no central registry tracking how many people are chipped, but biohacker Hannes Wellblood estimates between 5 and 10,000.
In the future, do you think everyone is going to be chipped?
Here we go. One world religion. Big things are happening around the world, with governments and religions pushing towards a one world religion. The Abrahamic Family House in Abu Dhabi, pretty much the Chrislam Center, which also has a Jewish mosque there, and I say Chrislam because the Roman Catholic Church as well as the Islamic Imam, they signed their Declaration of Human Fraternity not long ago, this kind of joining of peace between Islam and Catholicism. The Abraham Accords Global Leadership Summit that just took place in Rome. Of course, of all places, and again, it's more of this uniting of their religions. The Abrahamic religions, as well as all religions and all governments in this unity of peace that the Bible tells us will ultimately be run by the Antichrist. So the former Israeli ambassador to the UN is the host of this Abraham Accords Summit that just happened, the first of its kind, and just listen in his own words what he has to say about it.
So the idea here is to expand the influence of the Abraham Accords to nations around the world?
Absolutely. And also, we are very active on the bilateral arena, but we can also take it to the multilateral arena.
So as you can see, the main goal of this whole thing is really moving towards a one world control. One world peace is how it comes on the scene at first, but ultimately leads to one world control. Jesus said to love our enemies and...
All right, so as you can see, the total goal, one world everything. Not only the currency, one world religion. Okay, this also happened before in the past. Okay, just like they're going to control the world's currency, they're going to tell you what you can worship, what you can pray to, what you can't pray to. Okay, and the same thing, they're going to use their wicked draconian laws to enforce the penalties, even up into death. Okay, I want to get another example of that in the scripture, how they're trying to control everything, including your religion, the God you pray to. See, the white man want to be your everything. This is the whole dilemma, or the battle spiritually is what he's fighting for. He wants to be the God of the people. The Lord is bringing this system down and showing his people, no, I'm taking my glory back, my honor. I'm the God of the universe, especially for my people. Call upon me. Okay, so let's look at that through the scriptures, how they tried to even control a religion who you pray to once before. We go into Daniel, the 6th chapter now. One moment. Going to Daniel chapter 6, and we'll see. Let's pick it up at 1. This is Daniel 6 and 1. If it pleased Darius to sit over the kingdom, 120 princes which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, was the privilege that might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because of an excellent spirit that was in him. So the Lord favored Daniel. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could not find none occasion or fault, for as much that for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. So now they're trying to come against Daniel. They're trying to find some reason, some occasion to condemn him. Okay, and this is the same thing that they're going to do to us in these last days. Okay, for the most part, most brothers and sisters in this truth that really worship, serve the Most High, we are law-abiding citizens. You ain't really doing anything to break the laws. So let's see what they're going to use to come against Daniel. Verse 5. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. See that? We're not going to be able to find nothing to accuse or condemn him, except we find something that make it pass some type of law concerning his God or his religion, what he believed. Verse 6. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom and governors and princes and counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute, to make a firm decree. See what is happening again. They're using all these leaders, people of influence in the community, to establish a decree, showing you another wicked draconian law, that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save the king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. So they made a decree that anybody that's caught praying to any other god besides the king for 30 days, they'll be put to death. Same thing we read even in Revelations for the future. So this white man is showing you today, he's bringing the same playbook back. Anybody who's outside of his one world system or control, he's going to make laws or penalties to put you to death. Verse 7. All the presidents and kingdoms and governors and councils and captains consult together to establish a royal statute, to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it may not be changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alter it not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. And when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled up on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, and he did aforetime. And these 3 men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? And the king answered and said, Yes, the thing is true according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alter it not. Okay, so what is this showing you again? Okay, you had snitches and people that was working with the king. Strictly their job was to sit back and watch. Just sit back, watch, and find whatever occasion they can so they can report and turn Daniel in. So it's the same playbook in the last days, see? This is why everybody, what did Yahushua warn when he was talking to the disciples? He said, he that is not with us is against us. So it's the same thing that holds true to this last day. Those brothers and sisters that's in the truth, you got to watch people like that in your surroundings. To this very day, you got people who sit back and just watch you for when that time comes. It said they shall betray you. Okay, these are the people that's talking about. Okay, and we all got them, even on the channel. Okay, I got 1, 2. I know the same thing. They sit back and that's their specific job. They don't agree with the truth or nothing, but to just constantly sit back and watch, not realizing that that's their lot. This is what these people are going to be used for in the last day. To betray the prophets and the children of Israel. Okay, so I went here specifically to show you, though, it's the white man's same playbook. They draw this whole system of Babylon or this satanic system is nothing new under the sun, like the Bible say. It's the same playbook over and over that they're using. And we about to see this playing out in the last days. Okay, those who don't agree with this truth, you got to, keep at bay, long handle spoon, because this is the same thing that's going to play out in the last days. Okay, these are going to be the people that's turning you in or reporting you because of these wicked laws and decrees. They don't want to comply or go along with the system. Okay, I want to get another example. We go into Esther, the 3rd chapter. One moment. Okay, this is Esther 3 and 1. Now, I'm not going to read all of this. This is long, so I'm just going to get certain key points. But basically, you had a wicked, he was an Edomite, by the way, okay, Haman, which the king had promoted him to be top under him, under all his land of prominence. Then you had a guy of the Jews, Mordecai. And as we're going to read, okay, Mordecai refused to bow down and acknowledge Haman. And from that specific time forward, Haman had a real hatred for Mordecai, not only for Mordecai, for his people, the Jews. And it's the same similar situation. He sought out to kill Mordecai and his people simply because he refused to bow down and acknowledge or worship Haman. So this is Esther 3, and I'm going to pick it up at 1. After these things did King Alexandra promote Haman, the son of the Hadadians and Agagite, and advanced him and sit his seat above all the princesses that were with him. Verse 2, and all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did reverence him. So it was a command he put out, everybody bow down and reverence him. But according to our laws, okay, we don't kneel or bow before any other god. Okay, so this is what Mordecai was holding fast to. Okay, he wasn't going to kneel down and pray or reverence any other person or God like that. Verse 3, then the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Showing you a wicked decree again. This is the same thing they playing out in these last days. They making this law. Verse 4, now it came to pass that when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did reverence him, then was Haman filled with wrath. So anytime you go against the system for righteousness, this is what it's showing you. It's going to be persecution that come. Same way in these last days, you go against this beast system. Okay, these are the people that they singling out to come against. Verse 6, and he thought to scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Alexandra, even the people of Mordecai. Okay, so from that point on, that was the law or decree that Haman had put in place. He convinced the king to basically sign another decree, make it lawful to execute all of these Jews throughout the city at a certain date and time. And as before this went down, you had all the people who prayed and fasted. They sent Esther to do her job. Okay, she found favor in the king's eyes at the last minute. And if you continue to read the story, of course, everything backfired. And the same trap that Haman was setting for Mordecai, he ended up being put to death the same way. So it's the same thing for us in these last days who's believing, standing firm, and trusting on our God to deliver us. Okay, the Lord is going to keep and protect the elect through this. Okay, so all of these examples, according to Romans 15:4, were written for our learning in the last days. And that's all we doing, just get more examples. Okay, I want to go to 2 Maccabees 6, and I believe it's 6. 2 Maccabees 6. And let's see, pick it up around 6. Okay, I'll start at 5. The altar also was filled with profound things, which the law forbid. Verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts or profess himself to be a Jew. So even in this, what we're reading about ancient times, it was unlawful. They made it another decree, as we read earlier in 1 Maccabees, that we could no longer keep or practice our traditions of our fathers or the laws of God, but had to assimilate to the ways of the heathen or the white man. Well, we're reading about the same thing here, but they made it unlawful to even call yourself a Jew. Now, we seeing this play out slowly again in these last days. You got people who come forward, especially people of influence, and you make a statement claiming your true heritage. What's the next thing they end up doing? Turn around, apologizing or being counseled. Okay, we had some recently celebrities who come out and acknowledge their true heritage. Next thing you know, they're being counseled or demonized. Coming back and apologize. Exactly. So in these last days, we're going to see this play out the same way under this beast system. They want everybody to come under one world religion, as we saw in the video, one world currency, one mind. They don't even want you to have, the white man don't even want you to have your own thoughts. He wants you to hold fast to his philosophy, his law, whatever he teach you, this is what he wants. Okay. Verse 6 again, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts or profess himself at all to be a Jew. Verse 7, and in the day of the king's birth every month, they were brought bitter. Let's see. That's the main point I wanted. Verse 6, just showing you even to profess who you really are, your nationality, your heritage, they made it unlawful. Let me see. Make sure that's all I want out of that. Okay, I'm going to read down because the key point is in verse 9. Verse 8, moreover, there went out a decree to the neighboring cities of the heathen, showing you the draconian law, the wickedness. They pushed this by making laws, by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. Verse 9, listen carefully. And whosoever would not conform themselves to the matter of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present miseries. Okay, so if you continue to read down, it just gives you examples of some of the atrocities and evil things they did to our people for holding fast to the laws of God, for keeping our traditions. Okay, but it shows you many stories in the book of Maccabees, especially 2nd Maccabees, where they killed many families, women, children, all for keep holding fast and keeping the laws of our God. So this devil is going to try to push and do the same thing in these last days. Okay, the more of our people wake up, we detach, as the Bible say, come out of her, my people. We coming out of the system of Babylon, coming detaching from this matrix. Their job, the white man's job, is to keep everybody buying into this system. Okay, from there, let's see, I'm gonna play another video. One moment. Let's see.
Spiritual leaders of world and traditional religions, politicians, heads of international organizations. Guided by our shared desire for a just, peaceful, secure, and prosperous world, affirming the importance of shared values in the spiritual and social development of humankind, recognizing the necessity of countering and overcoming intolerance, xenophobia, discrimination, and conflicts based on ethnic, religious, and cultural differences, respecting the richness of religious and cultural diversity, realizing that acts of charity, compassion, mercy, justice, and solidarity contribute to the rapprochement of peoples and societies, recognizing the value of education and spirituality for personal and interreligious development, declare the following. Number 1, we will make every effort to ensure that the Congress of the Leaders of World and Traditional Religions continues its regular activities for the benefit of peace and dialogue between religions, cultures, and civilizations. Number 10. We note that pluralism and differences in religion, skin color, gender, race, and language are expressions of the wisdom of God's will in creation. Thus, any incidence of coercion to a particular religion and religious doctrine is unacceptable. 19. We proceed from the immutable fact that the Almighty created all people equal, regardless of their racial, religious, ethnic, or other affiliation or social status. Therefore, tolerance, respect, and mutual understanding underpin all religious teaching. And 35, we confirm our collective interest in continuing the activities of the Congress of the Leaders of World and Traditional Religions, and our intention to convene the next 8th Congress in 2025 in the capital of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Nur-Sultan. This declaration was adopted by the majority of the delegates of the 7th Congress of the Leaders of World and Traditional Religions and is being transmitted to the authorities, political leaders, and religious figures around the world, relevant regional and international organizations, civil society organizations, religious associations, and leading experts.
So right there, if you see the boldness, how they speak. Like, who the hell are you? Who the hell are these people, this devil, the one world? You trying to control what people worship, what they believe, how they spend their money. You trying to track people, trying to know every damn thing about them. See, just showing you the blasphemy of this white man. We just call it what it is. That's what the Bible identified. Esau the wicked, as you see who the world leaders sitting up on there. Esau, all of them. Our people ain't got no seat at that table. But you trying to yet control and make all these draconian laws to rule the world. Okay, but not in righteousness. Okay, so the Lord, of course, as he did the systems before, he's going to take them down, as we read in Isaiah the 14th chapter. Okay, though you exalt your stars, yourself above the stars and all of this, roughly paraphrasing, thou shalt be brought down to the pits of hell. So the Lord is going to interrupt this system. Okay, they're going to get so far with this. They're going to chip so many people. If you look, the average person don't know no better, don't know what the hell going on. So they already going along with the system. Hey, long as I got money in my pocket, long as I can go to work, eat something when I'm hungry. See, they don't give, that's as far as the average Negro can think and see past. Okay, only truly people really know what's going on the left-hand side. You got your international, global elite, the ones you're looking at on the screen now. And on the right-hand side, you got the Lord's true prophets and the true elect who he really gave his secrets and mysteries to. Them the only true people. Everybody else just pawns on the table. Just go along with the get along. Just keep a stimmy in your pocket, a little money. That's all they give a damn about. Okay, and when we bring these out to warn them, as the Bible commanded, guess what? By default, the majority of our people, the 2/3, they agreeing with the system and not even realize it. Fighting against the Lord, the true prophet, bringing the word out and not even realizing it. All right, so I want to get a couple scriptures on that to just show you, even though they laying this out right under, they doing it in plain sight, open sight. They ain't even trying to hide it no more. So they getting bold with it. They laying this out open in plain sight, and everybody just going along about their business like nothing, like it's just another normal day. Okay, but this is what they doing, is coming fast, and it's like a freight train. It's finna catch the world off guard at one time. All right, let's go to Proverbs 1:17. Just show you they ain't even hiding it no more. Going to Proverbs 1:17. Proverbs 1:17. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. So the net represents the trap. So this trap, this one world system and government that they laying out, just like a trap, they spreading it out in plain sight, right in front of everybody's face. And the majority of the earth is clueless to it. All right, I want to get another one. We go into Job 5:12 now. Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. See, and this is what the Lord is doing in his last days. He's disappointing the hands of the crafty. How was he doing it first? Through this word exposing them. The prophets of the Lord is 2 steps in front of them. We were telling and revealing through the Bible what his next move is before they can even do it. So that's helping to interrupt for the ones who are here, got ears to see. That's pulling our people out of the system. Those it take are the ones that was meant to take. They don't want the truth. So you read 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 10, because they didn't want the truth and righteousness, the Lord gave them over to a great delusion. The majority of the earth is under that great delusion to believe whatever the white man tell them, to believe whatever narrative or lie he spin on his media. That's what they're going to do. Okay. But for the elect's sake, okay, we're interrupting his devices. Verse 12 again, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsels of the forward is carried headlong. Okay. Verse 14, they meet with darkness in the daytime and group at noonday as in the night. So these meetings, as we just looked at on the screen, these are things that they get together, just like a couple months ago, Davos or whatever. What was that? What world leaders? Was it Davos? I forget the whole name, but basically this is why the whole world leaders meet. These different nations, the heads of these other nations, the G summits and things of that. They do it in broad daylight, right in front of everybody. But what the world, it keep the world distracted. Instead of paying attention to what they plan on doing to these evil laws that's coming down the pipeline that they're going to push on the whole earth, they keep you distracted with politics. Donald Trump going to jail, Beyonce and Jay-Z, all this dumb stuff, Blueface, Suki with the good coochie, all these different distractions is what they want to keep our people distracted with. See, the nonsense. One moment. But while they keeping us distracted, these are the things that they laying out right in front of our face. Okay. And nobody's realizing it. All right. I want to get, let's see. Let's go to Job 20:22. This is Job chapter 20. I'll start at 19. Because he had oppressed and had forsaken the poor, because he had violently taken away an house which he builded not. And that's what the white man do. Everything he didn't build, didn't plant nothing, but you try to rule and control over every damn thing. Verse 20. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save that which he desired. Verse 21. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, and every hand of the wicked shall come up on him. When he is about to fulfill his belly, that's his new world order. In the end, when he think he got his mark of the beast, his one world order, when he think everything is accomplished, like I always use the analogy, like a buffet, you sitting down, the day is over, I'm finally ready to dig in, finally ready to eat. Okay, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. He shall rain upon him while he is eating. See that? So this is going into his system not being successful, right? When he think he's accomplished it, and he will get so many, okay? Those who meant to be deceived are going to be deceived, okay? But right when he think he got his mission accomplished, the Lord is going to tear him down, is what it's saying, all right? Let me get one more, I guess, in Habakkuk. We'll go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. I'm going to start at 4, Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not right in him, but the just shall live by faith. And this is what we're going to do. In spite of all the evil, wicked, draconian laws and wickedness that he pushing up on the earth, okay, it's not going to matter to the elect. Okay, we walk by faith, not by sight. Okay, so the just is going to live by faith. We going to trust, we going to wait upon the Lord. Okay, because he's going to make, this devil going to make it so hard. If you don't comply with his system in the last days, you're not going to be able to work. Okay, all government assistance, they just passed something recently, like, think it's, what is it, federal food stamps or whatever? Food stamps, yeah, 80 hours or some crazy thing just to order to be accepted or qualify for the food stamps and stuff. So what they're doing, they through these draconian laws, they're making it harder and harder. And of course, it always affects our people first because we already at the bottom of the toll pole. All right. So through the midst of this, it's not going to be easy. We're going to all feel it. But for the elect, those of us who, the Lord woke up, called, and chose, we're going to put our faith in the Lord. OK, but verse 4 again, behold, his soul is not lifted up. His soul is not lifted up. The soul which, let me read that right. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, meaning he's wicked. Esau, the white man, was created to be the wicked. But the just shall live by faith. But it's not going to matter because the just is we're going to trust our God, the Most High. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, that's his lies, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heap it up unto him all people. That's that one world order again. He want to control everything, all people. Okay, one law, one religion, one currency. That's him heaping up everybody into himself. Okay, the Tower of Babel all over again times 10. All right. Let's get Isaiah 41 and 30. We go into Isaiah 41 and 30. Let's see. Salaki, I think I told y'all wrong. Isaiah 40 and 30 is what I want. Isaiah chapter 40, and let me see. It's either 30, 31. There you go. I already got it highlighted. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. And this is what we're going to have to do in these last days. Wait upon the Most High. What it means to wait upon the Most High, it might not come. That provision ain't going to come when you want it to. It might look like all hope is lost. But you don't buy into the white man's system. You be patient and wait on the Lord. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and faint not. So us that wait upon the Lord, he's going to come through. Okay, and this is how this system going to play out in the last days. It's going to look like all hope is lost. You see people giving up now. It ain't even really got serious yet. People feel like they can't make it. It's too hard to make it in life. Just wait as we get closer to the end. Okay, this devil is going to go crazy, stripping stuff. He know his kingdom is falling. He's going to pass more crazy draconian laws like never before targeted against our people. But this is the key. We have to keep the faith and wait up on the Most High. Okay, I'm going to get one more. I'm going to close out. Let's go to Psalms 124th chapter. Psalms 124 and 1. This is the 124th Psalms. If it had not been for the Most High who was on our side, may Israel say, if it had not been for the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up against us, that's the white man coming up against us in these last days, then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us. Then the waters had overwhelmed us. The streams had gone over our soul. Then the proud waters had gone over our soul. Blessed be the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, who had not given us as a prey into their teeth. Their teeth is their military. Verse 7, for our soul is escaped as a bird of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, who made heaven and earth. Okay, so our help is in the name of the Lord. But right here, what do we read? It's going to be a close call. It's just like a movie, right? When you're watching a movie and say the good guys are losing and you got that big climatic ending to right when it seemed like all hope is lost, boom. Okay, the good guys come through. So notice in this psalm, it's comparing it to a fowler. What is a fowler? A bird catcher, right? Laying a trap. So it's just like being caught in the trap. We literally in the trap. Okay, and then at the last minute, is some, like a gust of wind or something, hit the bird trap, fall on the ground, break open, then what? You fly off. We escape. We make it out of its snare. Well, that's what it's going to look like. But notice the last verse we had read, they that wait upon the Lord. See, that's why patience and temperance and self-control, diligence come in. And that starts now. So this is why it's high time for us as a people to be implementing this stuff. Patience, okay, temperance, working on your long suffering. All those fruits of the spirit you should be applying on a daily basis. See, the small test what we go through every day is just to prepare us for this big test what's coming up. The big test that's right around the corner. Okay, so the key is to trust in the Most High. Okay, the God of Jacob. One last one. I'm going to go to Revelations 3 and 10. Revelations 3 and 10 and close up. It's Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Now, what is this hour of temptation that's going to come upon all the earth to try them? That hour of temptation is talking about this beast system, this mark of the beast, which is going to be literally impossible to survive unless you got the favor of the Lord on you. Okay, but this is the Lord's promise to us because you kept the word of my patience, meaning because you sought the Lord's face, because you kept the faith, you tried to live right according to the best of your ability. Okay, because you've kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the earth to try them. So because we seeking and serving the Lord now, that's the Lord promised to us in these last days. Don't stress yourself out. Don't worry about it. How you gonna eat? Remember Matthew 6:33 and all of that? Okay, seek ye first the kingdom. Because we sought ye first the kingdom and his righteousness, the Lord is gonna make sure he add everything, all the provision we need to get through these last days. So we won't have to bow down before the beast. We won't have to sell out or take his chip. Okay, but the Lord is gonna be our stay. Okay, so with that, we're gonna go ahead and close it out. That's been the beast system. I pray that this lesson was edifying. Until next time, I want to say shalom. We out.